If Joe Flacco is worth a 4th-round pick, Antonio Brown might be worth a negative 5th-round pick.
Again, I'm just a fat dude sitting on the couch, but I watch a lot of football.
I'm here to kick ass and make steaks, and I'm all out of steaks.
Year 1, he was like, all right, guys, I don't know what Dom taught you, but you need to have 11 guys on the field.
A trained orangutan could have done a better job than Ron Zerks. I mean, not even well trained.
Welcome, Packers fans. This is episode 236 of the Titletown Sound podcast. This is the podcast for fans of Green Bay Packers and fans of schedules. And if you're perfectly in the center of that Venn diagram, this tonight, the episode for you. No puns tonight. This is too serious of a subject. But a man, one of my co-hosts joining me tonight, James Corsmo. James, how do you feel about schedules and or scheduling? And do you prefer to call it schedule?
I don't like schedule. That makes me feel weird inside. And I don't. Scheduling is not my forte. I don't like. I like winging it. I like flying off the cuff, so to speak. So to handle too.
So to handle, right? How about you? Schedules, big fan. I really put my all into this opening.
Well, yes, I do like a good schedule. I like the pronunciation schedule, although it reminds me of the movie Dracula, Dead and Loving It with Leslie Nielsen, wherein that was the only funny line in the movie. So if you ever see that movie and they say schedule, then you should laugh because it's your only opportunity.
Right. Yeah, agreed. All right. We're obviously going to talk about tonight the Packers 2020 schedule, which was released. And if you'll remember last year, I gave you the exact record that the Green Bay Packers would have at the end of the season. And I plan on doing that again this year. So get your gambling slips ready. Is that a thing? Use gambling slips anymore?
I usually gamble in my normal pajamas.
I always gamble in women's clothing.
It's a gamble whenever I get into women's clothing.
All right. But first, let's talk about some news affecting the Green Bay Packers. And to do that, we're going to bring you. I mean, it's Kevin. It's just Kevin. It's nothing different.
Spanning the globe to bring you all of the news that fit to podcast. It's Kevin Christofko.
All right, Kevin. Are you ready for story number 1?
Let's go for it. Welfare dollars don't go as far as they used to.
So, if you saw the news, the Packers' own Brett Favre recently, turns out that he got I forget how much it was. Was it 1.1 million?
I think it was
1.1 million. Yep.
For speeches for the Mississippi Department of Welfare. The only problem is he never gave any speeches, and he got a free $1.1 million.
Guys, I heard he spent that on bootstraps so that he could pick people up by them. So I think it's kind of a fair trade-off.
I heard it was all Wranglers and Crocs.
Well, so his excuse was, my agent handles the business side of things. I didn't know that I got paid for things I didn't do. I'll pay the money back. And maybe that's true. But I just also want to highlight for those of us concerned with, the world around us and paychecks and stuff like that Brett Favre received $1.1 million and didn't realize it.
I mean, yeah, once upon a time, I got a rebate for $386 from Walmart, and they put it right back on my credit card. And
okay, so what do you think $1.1 million to Brett Favre is to us?
$3.86.
Okay, so if someone puts $3.86 into my checking account, I do notice it actually.
I'm going out and buying a smoothie. I don't know about you guys, but that $3.68 is good as spent.
Yeah, you're right. All right,
I'm gonna go get a smoothie anyway. Actually,
I don't want to spend
good
too
idea.
much, but if this is Joe Schmo, on the street, and he gets an accidental $1.1 government million that he didn't earn. Probably going to be treated a little bit more harshly than favorite son Brett Favre. Just putting it out there.
But don't you think that's kind of like, yeah, I mean, of course, like he doesn't realize it because maybe he doesn't need $1.1 million from the state to give welfare speeches. I don't know what.
Yeah,
I feel like.
So I have questions about this whole about. So they ostensibly they contact his agent and they say, here, we want Brett to come in a couple times, give some speeches about whatever to whomever, I don't know. And Brett's like, cool, I'll go do that. And then he just doesn't do it.
Is that what happened, or were there no speeches lined up to begin with?
I don't know because, frankly, I haven't read into it that far. But, was he intercepted on his way to the arena? Like, did he,
James,
James.
He's not Jake Cutler.
We've been quarantined a long time, so I'm going to let that one go just because you've been very lonely.
I have been very, very lonely.
That's the only reason I've let you get away with that.
I think my dogs are dying upstairs. Sorry.
What the hell is happening in your house?
It's a wrestling match.
Should we go to story 2?
As soon as my phone loads up, yeah, we absolutely should go to story 2.
Well, till you tell me about that, I'll vamp for you. Okay.
We're good. We're good to go.
Here we go.
The Earl of Sandwich. Lordy, it's a family orgy. Yeah, that's what it says here.
We got 2 more viewers just as you gave that headline, Kevin. So now you got to hold them in. You got to keep them. Lordy, it's a family orgy. So, can someone explain to me? Oh, good. Guess who one of those viewers is, everyone? Family.
Oh boy!
Nope, see ya.
This is awkward. See, this is what you get. Let's move
on to headline number 3, shall we? It's table headline number 2.
James, why don't you tell our listening audience, since our mom is...
Oh, man. Okay, Mama K, I apologize for this.
What
Papa
happened?
K, too. All Ks, I apologize. So, this happened, I believe, in early April, or something like that. Earl Thomas, the safety from the Baltimore Ravens, he decided one day, as sometimes we do, he was having, it was before the quarantine, I think, so he was just like, you know what, I'm gonna go run some errands, maybe go to the dry cleaners. Then he and his brother went to his mistress's house. Now, Earl Thomas's wife, her name is Nina, which I find awesome. Nina got suspicious.
I'm disappointed that it's not Wendy.
Nina got suspicious.
Okay.
And apparently, I don't really know how to work Snapchat very well. Like, I don't get it. But apparently, there's a feature on there where you can look at it and tell where someone is. And Nina looked and saw that he was at this weird address. Then she saw a picture of him in bed, shirtless, with a lady who is not Nina.
Wait, hold on. Time out. This is what I need to know. I can understand like tracking the location, but how did she see the picture of him in action? Like, was he live tweeting his affair?
I believe it was. I don't know. I don't know if it was him or the mistress or somebody. Maybe it was his brother.
Hey guys, I'm here with my mistress. Smash that like button if you think this is awesome.
I like to think they had like the filters on, like he was a unicorn and she was like a bottle, or like a I don't know, like a bottle of Snapple or something. I got promoted tweet.
That's okay. I'm sorry. Anyway, so she catches him in.
So yes. So Nina.
By the way, this is why we did news tonight. We're going to go way over time. The only reason we're doing news is so we could talk about this story. I have to admit that to you now.
It's got to be talked about, and why not us? Because no other Packers podcast is going to talk about this. Why not us?
Not depth like this.
Yeah.
So next gen analysis.
I mean, one podcast is busy trying to get Aaron Rodgers to call him all the time. So Nina grabs her sister and a friend because it's a party at this point. and says, okay, let's go track him down. She literally goes to the area of town where his little icon was pinging. She saw in the video that there was purple light in the window, so she starts looking for purple lights.
I am so glad you are so in-depth on this because I didn't know these exquisite details.
Look, I have nothing better to do than to read TMZ at this point. Did I mention that Nina was packing a 9mm? I don't think I mentioned that before. Nina had grabbed Earl's 9mm, and I don't know, maybe she's planning to do some target shooting later. So her and her sister and her friend find this house somehow, purple lights, I guess. Good thing they weren't in Minneapolis, and they bust in. They literally break in the house and proceed to beat the living crap out of the mistress. But before they do that, they see Earl is naked in bed with the mistress, as is Earl's brother. Now, I don't know about, I mean, you guys are brothers. I have a brother, like a real flesh and blood brother who I love.
We have never Eiffel Towered, if that's what you're asking.
I love my brother very
much.
much.
How you doing? Still listening?
I love my brother very much. I would do almost anything for him. I would not do the rotisserie with him. I just wouldn't. John, if you're watching this, you know how I feel about you, man. Sorry. No wobbly H for you and me. So Nina puts the gun up to Earl's head. Now, at this point, the police are on the way, as you would suspect they would be.
Right.
Earl somehow manages to wrestle the gun away from Nina. They go outside and start running around a car, chasing each other.
Now, is Earl at this point still naked?
I believe that Earl is still naked, or at least quasi-naked. So the police get there. Earl's got the gun in his hand. Nina's got a sword or a knife of some sort.
What? Where did that come? Did I miss something?
I don't know where it came from.
Did she get what do they call it in video games? She get a loot box or something? Like, how did she end up with the sword?
So they let Earl go, and they arrested her for a litany of charges. Sorry, I almost spoke work jargon. Domestic violence, disorderly conduct, burglary with use of a whatever weapon,
katana blade, use of a box,
burgle or larceny.
So that's the tragic story of Earl and Nina Thomas.
And by the way, yesterday was Earl's birthday. Happy birthday, Earl!
And many more.
Just trying to enjoy his birthday present.
All right. We're not going to spend too much time with this one because that was that. I don't think you're going to get better than that last news story. So, Kevin, story number 3. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go for it. Packers fans are passionate, but do they love football? Yes, they do.
Packers fan base was was chosen the most passionate by Forbes. I'm sure there was some sort of matrix or metric that doesn't really matter. Honestly, I'm gonna level with our listeners and tell you that this story is purely filler. And since we don't need it anymore, any thoughts, guys? All right, let's move on.
Meh.
Never.
So we are now about 14 minutes into the show. I'm going to recommend that we do some of the schedule before the break. Maybe we'll do 4 games, take our break, and then do the rest of the schedule after that break. What do you guys think? Sound good to you?
Podcasting on the fly. I love it. Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll do it live.
Sure.
All right. So let's talk about the Packers schedule. Now, the schedule is supposed to start on September 13th, and the Packers start week 1. Now, remember, if you're just joining us, if you didn't listen last year, I predicted of countless people who made predictions in the national media, of which I'm certainly part of listening to. I was one of the only ones, if not the only one, who predicted a 13-3 record.
James Jones did too. Well,
there you go. I'm in good Homer company. So if you want to hear me really tank it and be terrible, then listen to this year's show because this is going to be awful. So here's what we want to do is, first of all, let's talk about the schedule in general. Because when it came out, there were supposed to be all of these things in place, these contingency plans in place in case they have to shorten the season. But I don't see a pattern for that. Is there anything that James, what do you think about this? Like, what's going on?
Apparently they did build in some sort of a contingency. It's not obvious. And I don't know, I'm not smart enough to understand how this works technically, but each team has the same bye week as their second week opponent. Okay. I don't know how that works into a contingency plan, but apparently it is. What?
Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
They've also built in contingencies apparently to where they can move games around if they need to.
Okay. That makes sense. Each team has the same bye as their week 2 opponent. So we have the same bye as the Lions of Detroit. That would mean that they could lop off the first 2 weeks of the season, and move that game with the Lions to where the bye week would have been and lose none of the season. So that's probably contingency plan A, is you lose no games but move the season back a couple weeks.
And you eliminate the bye.
And you eliminate the bye, right.
A week 1 bye. Sweet.
But the crazy thing that you think about is, like, when we talk about contingency plans and moving these games and shuffling things around, it's not as easy as saying, okay, Detroit, are you free on week 8? Packers, are you free on week 8? Great. Let's play. No, you got to get a stadium. You got to find a place for them to play. So there's more to it, than just saying, okay, we could move them around if we want to. They've obviously done that legwork. And there's probably not a whole lot of events that are clamoring to use large stadiums at this point, too. So it was a little bit easier, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I would think so. I think we should preface this whole segment by just saying, there's not going to be a full regular season on time. I don't think. But,
I'd be shocked.
Yeah, but now that that's out of the way, we can move on.
Yeah, we can. So let's talk about this season. So here's what we did. I personally don't think there's going to be full stadiums or fans, maybe at all this season. That just may not happen.
Yeah.
So what I thought I did a couple of years ago, I did something similar, and I'm going to pull up the document so I can find everything now. And we thought it was nice that we did a tourist attraction in each away city that the Packers visit, so that when you travel for a game, maybe you can enjoy the local culture. So, guys, I did that again for this year, understanding that, you probably can't travel, but next time you can get out, use your travel, book a spot, something to what do you book? A trip. There you go. Book a trip to these attractions. I think as I try to vamp for myself while I pull up the Google Doc. But the first game, Packers play on the road against the Vikings, and my first reaction was to think, oh, I don't like that. That sucks because you don't want to open at the Vikings. But guys, when you think about it, this is not the worst thing because it's probably going to be an empty stadium.
Yep. But it's going to be like the joke I've seen 1,012 times. It's going to be a lot easier to hear the piped in noise.
They should allow the teams to do that based on previous crowd noise, like some sort of next gen stats.
No, they just get everybody, all the season ticket holders, to record themselves on their phones, and they just send it, and they just play each individual file.
Yeah, they could just have a Zoom thing up on the board, up on the scoreboard, with all of the season ticket holders.
There would be so many dicks.
Well, I mean that's a given. It's in Minnesota. There are for normal games.
All right, so this week, I told myself I wasn't going to do it. But week one against the Vikings, on the road, at the Vikings, possibly an empty stadium, possibly no game. James, if this game happens, who you got?
Give me the Packers. Give me the Packers beat them handily both times they played last year. The Vikings, they added a wide, especially game one, they're going to be trying to get their stuff together with a new wide receiver to take Stephon Diggs' place. They still don't have much of a defense. Give me Green Bay.
Kev, who you got?
Yeah, I would say the one thing about the Packers is because when you look at the draft, you're like, okay, well, there's no immediate impacts. Well, good. Then there's nobody who has to learn anything to make an immediate impact. So they're kind of, they hit the ground running. What's that?
I like the cut of your jib, Mr. Optimist.
Well, we just talked about that. You've never seen the cut of my jib. Yeah, I mean, I like the Packers in this one too.
All right. I'm going to take the Packers as well. I don't think they're going to be 13-3, but we'll see. And now, go ahead, Kev.
I was just going to say, have you guys seen what they're doing in the Korean Baseball League?
No. What are they doing?
Okay, so they don't have a crowd, but what they have is like big vinyl sheets of pictures of people in the crowd. But these people have face masks on. I guess they're promoting good practices, but it's just bizarre to see like pictures of people. It's like a video game.
Let's say this game happens, right? And you were able to go to it. Or maybe next time you go to Minneapolis for a game, I want you to go a little bit further afield, about 2 hours from the stadium, to the town of Blue Earth, Minnesota, gentlemen. Do you know what the main attraction of Blue Earth, Minnesota is? Because that's where I want you to see. James, any idea?
They're waffles.
Kevin?
Biggest ball of twine in Minnesota.
It's a good guess. However, the correct answer is they have a giant Jolly Green Giant statue in the town.
Look at that. That's beautiful.
They are
majestic.
miles from the Green Giant Vegetable Company, but a DJ in 1979 paid to get this giant statue erected, so to speak. And they did it with money from local businesses, not even the Green Giant company. So the Green Giant gets free advertising, and you get to see what has to be considered, I think, James, a masterpiece of American art.
I mean, that thing was a beautiful, and I'm not even going to comment on the fact that it's a giant green thing in the middle of Blue Earth, but I love it, man. That's fantastic. I might go there this summer, whether or not there is a quarantine. The hell with it.
The beauty of it is you could drive by it and see it. This is your
right.
I didn't even think about this, but maybe this is more of a quarantine tour, like something you could take a day trip. Sorry, I'm grabbing another beer. Can't find one.
Yeah, just like pack a couple of bags like steamed vegetables in your car and take off. And
delicious, perfect. All right, game 2. I said we would get to game 4. Let's see if we can do that. Game 2 is Packers hosting, I believe. My screen's all screwed up. Hosting the Lions. Is that correct, James?
That is correct.
Yes.
Okay. The Lions are terrible. I'm not even going to waste much time. I'm going to take the Lions in this one to have the Packers going now 2-0 to open the season. James?
Well, I'm going to pass over the fact that you just said you're going to take the Lions in this one.
I didn't.
No, now we know he got 13-3 last year.
Right.
No.
Did I say the Lions?
Yeah, that's okay. We know what you meant. Matt Meathead is going to be back healthy. Throwing the ball to that guy and his other dude. Yeah, give me Green Bay. Green Bay.
All right.
Green Bay versus the Lions. You got to take Green Bay.
All right. Let's go to week number 3. This is where the Packers are going on the road. They'll be on the Bayou in Louisiana playing the Saints. In the what day? This is
I think it's a Sunday night game.
Sunday night game against the Saints. Kevin, what do you think?
Well, I think no crowd will be important here. If there's no crowd, I think it's, if there's no crowd, the venue doesn't really matter that much, right?
I would agree.
I mean, the turf, the ground, yeah, that does. But like really, when you're talking about home field advantage, you're talking about like momentum with the crowd and all that kind of stuff. I feel like so. I think they have a better chance on the road if there's no crowd. But I'm going to take this one as a no because I think the Saints will at home. I think they'll beat
James.
Yeah, I think if the Saints have a healthy Alvin Kamara as well as Michael Thomas, and Drew Brees is 78 years old, but he can still throw the ball. I don't know. I think New Orleans takes this one. I think it's a Saints.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement. The Saints are going to win this game. Now, while you are on the Bayou, you're going to take this trip to to Ruston, Louisiana. It's a mere 5 hours from the stadium, but certainly when you see what you're going to view in Ruston, it's worth it. And that is this beaut. That is a large rocking chair. It's not the largest, but it is a large rocking chair.
You should work for the Louisiana Tourism Bureau, man. You just made me want to go down to some podunk town in Louisiana and look at a giant rocking chair.
It sat in someone's front yard for years and was sold in 2016 and moved to a nearby antiques business and painted. So there it is, a large rocking chair. Visit Ruston, Louisiana. So the Packers get an L, but you get a W because you see a giant rocking chair. All right, game number 4 is at home against the Atlanta Falcons. That is it's a night game as well.
I think it's a Monday night game.
Monday night it would be, yeah. Monday night game against the Falcons at home. I like the Packers' chances at home if a game is played. Again, I keep factoring in crowds, which won't be present, but I still think the Packers can beat the Falcons. James?
Yeah, I mean, the Packers, I think, will win the game. I'm taking the Packers. I don't think it'll be a blowout. I think it'll be, but I like the Packers in this one. The Falcons have a decent defense, but they haven't really improved a whole lot since last year. And yeah, Packers.
Yeah, and I think this is a similar situation. If they were in Atlanta on turf, Atlanta maybe might be a little bit different. But I like the Packers at home.
So we all have the Packers going 3-1 with identical records at this point. The first quarter of the season, Mike McCarthy used to break the season down into quarters. That would be a huge W to get out of there.
He also used to break his foot-long hot dogs into quarters. So
he liked to break his team meetings into massages.
Yeah. Okay. So before we take a break, though, we've got some patrons to talk about, and I think that's Kevin. Kevin, are you ready to talk about your?
I mean, it depends on our definition of ready is really no. I'm not actually. As I try to find our patrons, so let's go. Let's see who they are. We got Scott Neer, right?
Right, we do.
We got Jason. We got Jason Hicks.
We do.
We got Milo Meadsong.
Yes.
Right. We got James Hamblin.
Yes.
Right. Who else we have?
Good job.
I know, but I don't have my list on me. James, why don't you do yours real quick?
Are we going topsy-turvy week?
Well, so the thing is, I'm supposed to have a list somewhere. Oh, here they are. Okay, yeah, I had my list and it wasn't named right. Chris Korsmo, of course. Jeff Augustine.
And that's it right there. You got them
we're
all.
Good. Yeah. I had that's even my order. I haven't even read in one order and everything. Do you guys want me to read old stats about him?
I don't know who's an OG and who's a Hall of Famer, I admit sometimes.
Jeff Augustine has been practicing yoga for the last 5 months now in preparation for his pretzel Halloween costume. That was a throwback.
That was a throwback. I felt like I heard that one before.
Thank you to our patrons. If you want to help us out, you can go to patreon.com/TTSO. And for a small or large per episode donation, you get some great bonus content. You support the show, and we will talk about you in a positive light. Unless, hey, if you donate enough, you can tell us what to say about you, and we'll say it. And I would
if you donate enough, we'll talk negatively about other ones.
Oh yeah, I'll moon you if you pay me enough.
I will roast the hell out of any patron if you could give me enough money.
I bet I would show my butt.
I feel like you're really just angling to show your butt on the internet.
Again.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to cover the last 3 quarters of the Packers schedule. And James will do a live performance on the spoons of Inagata Davida. Come back for that. James, I want to learn how to play the spoons. Did you know that you can help support our show financially without any additional cost to you? Well, if you use Amazon, and let's face it, who doesn't? You can go through our Amazon affiliate link, and we'll get a small portion of the proceeds. You pay nothing extra, and you still get your awesome stuff delivered in like 2 days. So go to www.titletownsoundoff.com/Amazon and just order like you normally would, and you help the show. That's www.titletownsoundoff.com/Amazon. Happy shopping.
If you would like to support the show and help others find it, give us a review and a rating. Go to Apple Podcasts and write something nice and give us 5 stars. Thanks.
Packers fans and 2 of the 3 hosts of the Title Town Sound podcast. We have James and Kevin is back as well. Back to talk about some other amazing. James, tell us about our Hall of Fame patrons with
Our Hall of Fame patrons. We have Paul Goldsack, Kyle Turpening, DJ Lightfoot, and Will Zine Savage. You know what? They all once starred on Blossom. Remember the show Blossom in the 90s? They were all on it at one point. They were guest stars.
Regular episodes are very special episodes.
Very special. They were all in the episode where Blossom got addicted to meth.
Ooh, that was a good one. That was.
They played.
Get clean. It was moving, touching even.
Whoa.
All right. Let's talk about the next game on the schedule, and that would be, if I remember correctly, the game at Tampa against the Tom Brady's and the Rob Gronkowski, as opposed to Ron, his uncle, the Rob Gronkowskis. I am really looking forward to this game. I think this is going to be one of the more fun, enjoyable games, and I hope it happens. And no one knows what Tampa is going to be like, but I'm going to play the odds and say they're not going to gel, and the Packers get a W here. Also, I'm a huge friggin' homer.
I want to take Green Bay in this one. I really do. So I'm going to. Screw it. Tom Brady is a shell of his former self who wasn't as good as anybody makes him out to be anyway. I will die on that hill. Tom Brady was a system quarterback.
You are preaching the truth. We're about to find out.
And Gronkowski will probably be in some sort of like liver transplant alcohol situation by then. And Tampa's defense, to the best of my knowledge, it's good, but it's not great. You know what? I don't know why I'm doing it, but give me Green Bay. Give me Green Bay.
Kevin.
So one thing to consider is if the schedule stays how it's supposed to, which it's not going to, the Packers would have their bye in week 5, and this would be week 6. If it doesn't stay that way, then they're coming off of a Lions game, which is essentially like a minor league game. So that should be cool. Right. I'm going to take the Packers. I think that because of the fact that if the Bucs don't have an entire offseason to practice together, and if Gronkowski, he's going to be – I don't want to say this, but I don't think he's mentally fit to play football, which is saying something. I don't know if he's a weird dude, and he could I don't know.
Let's go live to Gronk.
Hey, what happened?
Exactly.
All right. So
but I mean, they could have a good offense, but Tom Brady is he's not he's not Joe Montana. I said Joe Montana.
He's not Joe Montana either. We all have Packers at 4-1. But before we move on, there is something important. If you are in the Tampa area, you might want to go for a little excursion. Now, this one is a little further, but trust me when I say it is worth it. It's going to require a drive down to the Florida Keys. Specifically, you're going to be driving to Key West, to the Key West Cemetery, where you can find old and humorous gravestones. Who doesn't love a humorous gravestone? For instance, this is good old B.P. Roberts. His gravestone reads, "I told you I was sick. May 17, 1929 to June 18, 1979. Good old B.P.
See, now that would be a lot funnier if he was older.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like if he was like 88 and died with that would be hilarious. But it's kind of sad.
It'd be better if the BP stood for blood pressure.
I mean, we don't know that it didn't.
Maybe it did. Good old blood pressure Roberts.
All right, so we got very realistic Packers at 4-1, and we're all in agreement. Let's go to the next game on the schedule, and that is Packers at the Houston Texans. So they stay on the road. They go to the Texans. James, what do you think here?
The Texans, who are coached by an imbecile and whose general manager is the dumbest human being alive. They're the same person. And he has a butthole on his chin. They have one of the top 5 quarterbacks.
On their oh, you mean facing out. I'm sorry.
I do. Kinda. They have probably one of the top 5 to 7 quarterbacks in the league, Deshaun Watson. He's going to be throwing the ball to Kenny Stills, I think, and that's about it. They got no. Give me Pat. I'll take the Packers in this one.
All right, Kevin.
I'm going to go with the Texans in this one. I think this is the one that's a frustrating game, but on the road, I think they lose this one.
I don't think that's a bad pick. I'm going to take the Packers because, again, I'm a homer, and now I have them at 5-1, and this is absurd, as it was last time. But what's not absurd are the beautiful sights you can see if you're going to be in Texas. You know, if you're already there, you either rent a car, you have a car, you drive a mere 4.5 hours to the beautiful hamlet of Ingram, Texas.
Oh,
there. It's beautiful. Any time of year, really, but especially that time of year. And you, too, can see Stonehenge 2. Now, you might be asking yourself, Stonehenge 2, it couldn't possibly be as majestic as the original, but it is, nearly. It's 90% as tall and 60% as wide. And as a bonus, there's an inexplicable Easter Island statue right in front of it. That, ladies and gentlemen.
I feel like whoever was curating this didn't quite get what was going on.
I love the human race, man.
It's
the best.
It's like somebody had some knickknacks that they just wanted to display.
Well,
I've got this big ass Easter Island head. Let's put it in front. That'll be nice.
So that's what I expect everybody to do when they're in Texas. Again, 4.5 hours. I mean, you can't pass that up.
Ingram, Texas. I'm on my
4.5 hours or 2.5 slabs if you're telling time by Stonehenge.
Next up, the Packers have the Vikings this time at home in Lambeau Field. And I'm going to take the Packers to move to 6-1 because I think they own the Vikings, and I don't think that's going to change as long as Kirk Cousins is at the helm. Kevin, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to go Packers too. I think they swept the division last year, so it's not like you can. It's not like if you pick that to happen again this year, it's out of the realm of possibility. So, right? They did, right?
They did sweep the division.
Yeah,
last year, yes.
Thank God, because that would have sounded really dumb.
Now, what are they going to factor?
Who cares? No one's listening anyway.
I believe we called Jordan Love a 3rd round pick. James, who you got in this one?
Nothing makes me happier than watching the Smith brothers tee up on Kirk Cousins at Lambeau Field. So I'm going Green Bay.
All right. We've all got them beating the Vikings. Now let's move on to 4 days later?
Thursday night
on the road, San Francisco. There is no way the Packers win this game. Kevin, your analysis. Not your analysis.
You have diabetes.
If the Packers win this game, then this is what game is this? 6? 7.
No,
They're
8.
if they win this game, then they're probably 7-0 at this point because this is
Right.
a daunting task.
Loss.
Oh yeah, not a win.
James, you got a loss here.
The Packers might lose this game by triple digits. I
wouldn't be mad. I'd just be impressed.
No, I've already come to terms with the fact that the 49ers own the Green Bay right now, much like we owned, the Lions and the Vikings for some. They just own us, and especially out there, even though if there aren't any fans, it's just Thursday after playing a division game. We're gonna get murdered.
I would dry those tears because you are going to be in California and a mere 7.5 hours away.
Oh.
You may scoff at that, but when you hear where you're going, you'll be on board. You are going to the international, world famous Banana Museum. That's right, the International Banana Museum in Mecca, California. You can come and marvel at their world record collection. They have over. I'm going to read from their website now. We have over 25,000 banana-related items and pictures residing in our museum. After your eyes have split over our appealing atmosphere,
Oh gosh.
stop by our banana bar and order a bunch of tasty treats like and they also in quotes have homemade banana ice cream. I don't think they understand what quotes right there means. It's not homemade, right?
So, well, here's the deal. So I don't know if you guys know this or not, but here's a little trick. Homemade is not the same thing as made at home, right? If you go to a restaurant and it's homemade, that's the style. You want house made. That means it was made in the restaurant. Homemade is just the style of food.
Okay. So our homemade banana ice cream and our delicious banana milkshakes. Then, when the time is ripe,
Oh God!
I didn't get that one.
in our array of bananaware and go bananas as you take some fun-filled pictures in front of our giant banana statue. Afterwards, feel free to check out our bananarific merchandise before you head home so you can leave peeling great.
Okay, so the person that put this together can't feel good about their life, right? Because there's like puns, and then there's just like that is so overboard that there's something wrong with that in that person's life.
I gotta find their website because I'm looking up right now. But I'm gonna get arrested for this. Banana Museum.
I don't know about you.
It's internationalbananamuseum.com. Clever. What I want everybody to do is to go to that website and see how it was created in GeoCities because it is amazing. It's so primitive. It's in Comic Sans.
Oh boy. I don't know about you guys, but I really dislike banana flavored things. I like the fruit itself.
I'm the total opposite, James. I cannot stand the texture of it, but I love the flavor. Like banana Laffy Taffy. Give it to me all day.
That's the worst. I do like bananas in runts. Those are good runts. My favorite banana is the hammock, though. I love the banana hammock.
Guys, what would you pay for admission to the Banana Museum?
You'd have to pay me
69 cents a pound.
What are you buying? Organic? Fancy pants? No, but really, the admission to the International Banana Museum is.
If it's any more than $5, you're getting ripped off.
It's a mere $1.
It's a donation of bananas. Have you ever been to Target where they sell bananas and they sell them individually, and you normally buy them by the bunch,
right? But
here they sell them by the each. Have you ever seen that before? It's like 49 cents by the each.
Oh,
yeah.
That's fun. All right, the next weekend, where they probably would have been in London, the Packers will be. Oh no, because it's a home game. I'm sorry, this is a home game against Jacksonville, so they probably would.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of convenient that they don't have to go to London. Maybe they'll miss their window.
Who knows? But this would have been the year
for fans.
I'm convinced the NFL just promised them they're never going to London at this point. Like,
You might be right.
Well, that's why the NFL created coronavirus in a lab in Roger Goodell's basement.
Uh-huh.
So we wouldn't have to go to London.
Pandemic, more like fandemic, am I right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not an anti-vax.
We'll probably be like, we're going to be like a source now in like 6 videos.
Yep. We're going to be all over Facebook
from
now.
Titletown Sound agree.
That'll be amazing. Yes, hold on. Hold on, I got it. I'm gonna take some liberties here, guys. I'm gonna invite everybody who wants to crop this beauty. If I can figure out how to get myself. What the heck? Here, I'll just hide you. I'll hide you. Here I am. Except now you guys can't hear. No, you can hear me, but you can't talk. All right, here's what I'm going to do. Show you. There we go. All right. Now you can talk on the video. All right, so sorry. Edit this if you're on YouTube as you see fit. You know who's not working for a cure? It's Roger Goodell, because he created it. Look, I've seen the virus. There's no way this couldn't have been created by anyone but an overpaid commissioner. The government doesn't want you to know that. They don't. So you just put me right in, and
make sure to source us though, because we want to get the credibility and we need the views.
We could become like the Alex Joneses of Packers podcasting.
Did you hear what he said this week? I'm sorry, we're taking a turn off into the.
That's okay. I'm okay with it.
Alex Jones said that he was prepared to live in his home as a bunker and eventually eat his neighbors. Now, he was very specific in that he said, and literally, you picture him all sweaty and like angry, full like purple face. He started screaming about how he was going to quote I'm going to eat my neighbor's ass. We all like what
maybe
we
she's
like.
hot.
That is
right. Like what we like.
Wouldn't it be great if he was like? It would be great if he's like doing that and he's like screaming and then just hear like a bang on the wall, like "Shut up, Alex! We can hear you over here." You know, like the neighbors, like no.
Wow,
that's.
I assume he has a single family home though.
I'm sorry. Where are we now? We're
Jacksonville. Still at Jacksonville. At home.
We're out of time.
Against Jacksonville. The Jaguars generally eat ass. Good segue. But James, who you got in this one?
Green Bay. The Jaguars suck.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah,
the Jaguars are not very good.
Now we're going on the road, and we're going on the road to Indianapolis, so a mere puddle jump away. Who's the quarterback now for the
Phillip Rivers and his 12,000 children?
I thought it was Peyton Manning Jr.
Phillip Rivers and the Indianapolis Colts against the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to surprise you guys and say the Packers, who couldn't manage to beat Phillip Rivers when they should have last year, also lose to him this year, this time a little closer to home. What do you got, Kev?
I think that's fair. I mean, I think that I don't like Phillip Rivers because he's a jerk. Not that he's a jerk. He's super competitive, and I respect that. I more dislike the fact that he doesn't know what a condom is. That's more or less the gripe that I have with him. And if he does, then he's just really bad at putting them on.
That's suggesting I don't know what a salad is. I know what it is. Not to eat one.
Right. It's just you wear it as a hat. That's all. Yeah. So I think that the Packers.
I don't know what the problem is here.
I think the Packers are going to lose this one. I don't like indoor dome games. I'm not a fan of those.
James,
it's it's funny that you went that route because that's the exact same sort of thought process that I had with it. There's something about Phillip Rivers. Even the times that Green Bay has beaten him or beaten the Chargers when he played for them, it was super duper close. Like the Packers never, beat the snot out of the Colts or the Chargers. So, and the Colts are going to be good. They're not going to be bad. So I actually think Green Bay loses this one.
All right. So we're all in agreement. Now you will be in Indiana already. Lucky you if you're at this game. But what is there, you might say, what is there for me to see in Indiana? Well,
so much.
More than you know. One of those things is the
This is gonna be good. I can tell.
This is actually one that I would go see, I think. It is the world's largest ball of paint. That
Wow.
you're seeing on the screen, larger than that man, is a ball of paint that was started in, I believe, 1977, when a father and son painted a baseball blue and then decided every day, and many times more than once a day, they would add a coat of paint to the ball. Now you can see from the picture on the screen, they've since had to put some sort of industrial hoist on that thing because it's so damn heavy. But guys, you can actually also paint the ball. You don't have to pay extra for that. It's just that it's really tiresome to paint this damn thing a couple times a day, so you can help.
I mean, I am an expert ball painter.
Now that's a baseball I can hit
Right.
because I'm not very good at hitting baseballs.
Right.
Look, I honestly, because it was green, I thought you were going to say it was the largest booger ever.
Next
Oh
game,
no, I've produced bigger.
the Packers are at home, and this is a Sunday night, I think. Sunday night game against the Chicago Bears. The first time they play the Bears, they've already finished their season series with the Vikings, but now they play the Bears for the first time on the 29th of November. Kevin, who you got at Lambeau?
I mean, the Packers are going to win. So here's my bold prediction, though, for this game, okay? Jay Cutler is going to come out of the crowd and quarterback for the Bears.
Well, he's free now.
Out of the crowd, like in a suit. He's going to be wearing fancy clothes, and he's going to come on the field and play in a suit.
I don't think
He's
Jay
going to be the
Cutler
only
wears
fan.
fancy clothes.
Just Jay Cutler in a suit, and he's going to come on the field and play.
He's just going to be awkwardly sitting in the stands alone, and then he's going to come on the field.
He's going to come out from behind one of those vinyl players, fans, and walk down on the field.
This is bold. James, who you got in this one?
Green Bay. The Bears. Come on.
Yeah,
Green
Bay.
Bay.
Let's see. The Bears, come on. All right, next game. Packers against your Philadelphia Eagles, the team I probably hate the most. They play them on December 6th. It is a 3:25 p.m. Central game. I hate to say it, but I think I got a loss here. Just because for some reason I feel like the Eagles are one of those teams that they're not that good, but they find ways to beat the Packers even at home. Jim, what do you think?
The Eagles have gotten better in the offseason. They've gotten much better. They've added a lot of people. I have flashbacks to last year's Eagles game where the Packers should have won. They controlled a lot of that game and then ended up screwing the pooch at the end and losing. But I'm kind of with Chris on this one. I have this one marked up as a loss. The only home loss.
Okay. Kev, what do you got here?
I don't know. Let's go with the win. I'm feeling saucy.
Saucy, you say. All right, so we all have them now at this point after 12 games at 8-4. Let us go into the final stretch. That means no one will predict the Packers to repeat their 13-3 season. Final stretch of the season, they go on the road. They go to the beautiful metropolis of Detroit, Michigan, Ford Field. James, who's winning this?
That would be. I think I don't know. I think I'm going to take the Detroit Lions to lose to the Green Bay Packers like they always do.
Kevin, well, who you got?
All right, so I'm looking at the last 4 games because I'm not, I've got my record in my head. So the Packers are going to have to lose a game or two in these next 4 to meet my, my prediction that I had going into this.
Back into it is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Because I had it in my head, but it wasn't really set on which game was which. That was kind of winging it, but I know where I want to end up.
Sure.
That being said, I think the Packers win this game.
Oh, look at that, the old switcheroo. And I'm going to take the Packers as well. This is a game they should win. But while you're in Detroit, you can also go to beautiful Wayne, Michigan, which is a suburb of Detroit that is wholly enclosed by Detroit.
It is. I've been there.
Okay. Now, in this beautiful town, You can
It's
go
the Djibouti of Detroit.
Hamtramck Disneyland is what they call it. It is a 2-story structure, art installation, if you will, made of used crap. But it's very colorful and it's very popular. James, have you ever heard of this location, this place? James?
I think that's a no. He is not. He's dumbfounded by this place.
James froze for a second.
That looks like every nightmare I've ever had.
Yeah.
Kevin.
That's like the Ocean City Boardwalk is what that reminds me of.
It's in the Ocean City Boardwalk got rabies.
Ocean
That's what it looks like to me.
City,
like,
Maryland.
That's like if the auto parts like warehouse vomited just everywhere. I don't like it.
It is impressive. We only have one more site to visit, but it is a doozy. By the way, that is a mere minutes from the stadium. So it's just outside, yet inside of Detroit. So be sure to visit that. Next up on the schedule, the Packers play at home against the Panthers, who were wretched last year and aren't getting much better. I think the Packers win this game. James?
They got Bridgewater now, I believe, who's not terrible, but he's not, lighting the world on fire. They still have Christian McCaffrey, who is, very, very good.
Right.
But they don't have anybody else, and their defense is putrid. So I'm going with Green Bay.
Kev?
And I'm still convinced that teams who have major turnover from last year to this year are going to be at a serious disadvantage with the fact that they're not going to have as much time to play together. So even by this point in the schedule, they're going to be still further beyond where they would have been. So I'm going to go with the Packers.
That's a really good point. That the Packers, even let's say it is a bad draft because nobody can contribute, it actually might in some ways benefit them this year that they're not shoehorning in a first-round pick to play when they're not ready.
They're not relying on somebody who they don't even get to see until who knows when.
So next up, they got Tennessee, the Titans of Tennessee at home, and that is that a Sunday night game as well?
No, is it? Yes,
It's a 7. Yeah, it is Sunday night, December 27th. Merry
Titans
Christmas.
A lot of Sunday night exposure. That's very normal. I literally don't know anything about the Tennessee Titans, so I'm not sure what to do with this one, James. How about you?
So I know before I said that the Packers would only have one home loss, and that would be to the Eagles. I think I spoke too soon. I think I'm going to chalk this up to it as an L for the Packers. It's going to be part of the Matt LaFleur revenge tour because he was the offensive coordinator for the Titans. They have Derrick Henry, who's a large back. Not Aaron Rodgers, but he's also not awful. And their defense is good. So I don't know, man. I feel like that's going to be one of those games that's going to be a letdown. I'm going with Tennessee. Okay.
What do you got, Kev?
I'm gonna go with the Packers on that one. I think the Packers are going to be ready to play for LaFleur's old team. I think they're going to show up. I'm not super concerned. Obviously, any game can go anyway, but I like the Packers in this one because
I'm going to take a loss here mainly because I've got too many wins. I think. I don't know why. That's not a fair reason, but that's what I'm going with. Yeah. Now, our last game, the Packers finish up the season on the road, week 17 or whatever, by playing at their main rival, the Chicago Bears, who by this time will be starting Big Dick Nick Foles. James, week 17, Packers on the road against the Bears of Chicago. Who wins that game?
I'm going to go ahead and say that Jordan Love starts this game for the Packers as Aaron Rodgers and the rest of the starters rest for playoff action. And Jordan Love leads the Packers to a win.
Wow. What do you got, Kev?
I'm going to say that Jordan Love starts the game, and then Matt Flynn comes in the second. No, I think the Packers lose this game. I do think they're going to lose it because they're not starting their starters, not necessarily because of a talent thing, but Oh, I'm gonna call this a loss.
I have just one of those freak weird losses on the road. It's a road in the NFL, and by this time they might actually have fans in the stadiums. So I will call this a loss against the Bears just because it happens.
I mean, consider it though, because if you do call that a loss, and if you're right, that'll be their first loss in 2 years to the division. So like they're gonna have to lose within the division at some point.
Yeah, it's the do theory, the gambler's do theory. Now, while you're in Chicago, right? You don't want to just. I mean, sure, there's a lot of things to see in Chicago, but I want you to drive about 3.5 hours from the stadium to Gaze, Gays, Gaze, Illinois. And when you're in Gaze, you can.
Is that before or after normal?
I don't know.
You bastard!
I did not pick
You
this
got me.
name. I swear to you, because you're about to see what this is. The only one I'm aware of in existence. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a 2-story outhouse.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Now, there's a story behind this 2-story outhouse. Attached to the 2-story outhouse used to be a 2-story general store. So it had an outhouse on the top and the bottom floor. It was like the building, like 4 feet from it. There was a deck you walked across to the outhouse.
An upper deck?
There's an upper and lower deck, but they took the general store away, but left the outhouses. So visit that in Gaze, if you will.
Can you go up to the top one and take a dump? Like, are you allowed to go do that? Or
I haven't really looked into the logistics, but where there's a will, there's a way.
But like, is there a step or a ladder or something, or do you have to climb?
I would imagine
I don't know.
Blocked off at this point.
Maybe there's a dumb waiter, like a giant dumb waiter.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna take a dump. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, can you really do that on
just
command?
like if you go to like Gettysburg, you have to eat hardtack. You know what I mean? Like, you just have to do it when you're there.
I don't think you do.
So if you go to the 2-story outhouse, you got to make it eat hardtack?
So what I want to know is, like, are the seats on opposite side, like, is someone sitting just above you? Or is it like or are you sitting
like
next
staggered?
Like, right, staggered, exactly. So, like, I'm standing, but refuse is falling here. That's what I would want. I don't want it to be.
Do you think it's open refuse, or do you think there's some sort of piping?
There has to be a pipe.
Like, I know it's an outhouse, but somebody was like, we can just put a pipe. Like, it doesn't have to do anything. It just has to contain the feces.
Right. It has to let gravity do its thing and not let this poor bastard get poop on his head, because that'll ruin a shopping experience.
We do not want. We want to reduce the splatter.
Yeah. Exactly.
The last thing you want when you're in Gaze is to get poop on you.
So we thought that they're going to lose this one or win this one.
Oh my God!
Oh, I'm sorry. Was I not supposed to knock down the pins that were set up there? Is that supposed to just stay put?
Oh my God! Oh, thank God no one's listening. All right, Mom, how you doing? Let's wrap up the show by recapping how we predicted the Packers would do in 2020. I was the least optimistic, gentlemen. Possibly course correction for last year's ridiculous 13-3 prediction. I predict the Packers to go 10-6, but that it would be enough to win the division. That's an ancillary prediction I'm making, but I think it's enough, especially because considering I made their record 5-1 in the division. James, you have them at 11-5, as do you, Kevin. Now, I'm going to ask a bonus question. And I don't know why I have the 2-story outhouse still on the screen. Let me take that down. The bonus question here is, what do you think the end record will really be? Okay, so you've got your record if the full season is played. But what do you think the record will really be for whatever the NFL calls the 2020 season, whether that starts in September or February?
Wow, good question. I'm going to go worst case scenario and say 5-1.
Wow, a 6-game season.
They played the division twice, and then each division winner goes to the playoffs or something. I don't know, but yes.
Okay, that's the way to do it. James,
I'm gonna go. Yeah, man, that's tough. I'm gonna go 6-2.
6-2. Okay, so you think they'll play an 8-game season?
Yeah.
I think for some reason, go ahead, Kev. You gonna say something?
Dom Capers was going to pick them to go 6-2 with a 9-game season.
I'm gonna take them going 7-3 in some sort of wild fashion 10-game season where they play like the division teams twice, and then they play
A soccer team.
and then the local charity softball team.
The Washington Mystics.
They play a scrimmage and determine how well they played, whether it was a win or a loss.
3-man sack race.
We all have the Packers go in the playoffs in every scenario, it looks like. I don't think 5-1 will not be enough to get you into the playoffs. But these things, we will forget what they are unless one of us gets them exactly right. If you're new to the show, that might be a surprise. But if you're not, that's what you expected. Did I give you I gave you the 2-story outhouse. I think that's it. That's the end of your tourist destinations. Even if you have to visit those places virtually, please do so. The Banana Museum, their website is a delight. Take a look at it.
Do you know what I'm going to do? And this is legitimate. I'm going to virtually take a tour of the outhouse while I'm in the top floor of my house taking a dump.
Nice.
I like it. Virtual reality.
I'm a channel, so to speak.
Right.
The outhouse experience. Open the window, maybe. Just nice and chilly.
Anything else to wrap this up?
Take off my shirt, get nude. Right. Oh, I do that anyway.
Okay.
No, that's all.
James?
I love that the last words on the episode for Kevin are take off your shirt and get nude. If you've made it 68 minutes, oh, so close into this episode, tweet us the word chili dog.
Delicious. And then visit the 2-story outhouse. Hey, if you happen to watch this video on YouTube, and you can always watch it even if it's not live, leave us a comment with your record prediction. Don't forget to smash that like button. And what do the kids do? What do they mash? What would you mash one and smash the other? I think
they all say the same thing, and it's become a parody of itself, but they don't get that it's a parody of itself.
Something about the bell, and then there's mashing the thing. And
in all seriousness, if you like our YouTube page, if you're already subscribed, if you do hit the bell, the reason I tell you that is because it increases you'll get seen more on YouTube because more people.
No, but seriously, smash it. Yeah, totally smash it.
Absolutely.
I almost said that's where I had to bleep.
Just whack it.
And if you smash it so hard that you break your mouse, you get double points.
Don't take that advice. Or don't send us a bill. All right, let's get out of here, guys. Thanks so much for joining us this week. Become a patron. Give us we only have like 32. We only need 32 more reviews to get to 300 on Apple Podcasts. To be the most 5 stars of any Packers podcast. I think we're there. We're close. Whatever. Where's the show closing song? All right. Let's get out of here. Next week, we will tell you. I don't know.
The return of Fantasy Floral Minute next week.
don't write checks to get cash. The preceding podcast was a production of Productions Institute, LLC. Copyright 2019. All rights reserved. Don't steal our crap.